So, when we talk about fighting high cholesterol, there's usually one type of drug that gets all the attention. But what happens when that first line of defense just isn't enough? Today, we're diving into a different kind of player in this game, one that doesn't go after cholesterol where it's made, but stops it right at the front door. All right, here's our roadmap. We'll start with the problem Ezetimibe was built to solve. Then we'll get into its really cool mechanism, see how it plays with other drugs, look at the hard evidence, and wrap up with a practical guide. Okay, let's set the stage. For decades, the main strategy for lowering cholesterol has been all about stopping the body from producing it. But you know what? That's really only half the battle. And this is the big question, right? This is why we need other options. For millions of people, even the most powerful and common drugs out there, the statins, they just can't get that bad cholesterol, the LDL, down to where it needs to be. For others, the side effects are just too much. So there was this huge, clear need for a totally different approach. And that's where ezetimibe comes in. To put it simply, it's a cholesterol absorption inhibitor. So instead of going to the factory, the liver, it goes right to the front door, your intestine. Its whole job is to be the bouncer, stopping cholesterol from getting past the velvet rope and into your bloodstream. So you've got two completely different strategies here. Statins work inside the liver, which is your body's main cholesterol factory, and they basically slow down the assembly line. Ezetimibe, on the other hand, works in the intestine. It stops the raw materials from your food from ever getting inside in the first place. It's like fighting the same enemy, but on two totally different battlefields. So how exactly does ezetimibe pull this off? How does it guard that intestinal gate? Well, the mechanism is just so precise and targeted, it's really cool. The whole secret is its target. Ezetimibe zooms in on this one specific protein called NPC1L1. You can think of this protein as the literal gate, the only doorway cholesterol can use to get from your gut into your body. And this kicks off this amazing chain reaction. First, ezetimibe slams that NPC1L1 gate shut, so way less cholesterol gets to the liver senses this shortage and thinks, hey, I need more cholesterol over here. So what does it do? It builds more LDL receptors. These are like little sticky hands that reach out and grab bad cholesterol from your blood. And the result of all that? More LDL gets snatched out of your circulation and your overall levels in your blood just plummet. Now, ezetimibe is pretty clever all on its own, but its true power, its real strength, is unlocked when it becomes part of a team. This is where the story gets really, really good. Okay, look at this. By itself, ezetimibe can lower bad cholesterol by about 18%. Not bad. A statin alone does better, yeah, around 40%. But when you put them together, wow, the effect is basically additive. It pushes that LDL reduction all the way up to around 60%. It's so clear, the two drugs together are just way more powerful than either one alone. This is the number to really lock in. By adding ezetimibe to a statin, you can get an additional 20 to 25% reduction in LDL. That's not total, that's on top of what the statin is already doing. For someone who's fighting to get their numbers down, that extra drop, that's a massive win. Okay, so lower numbers on a lab test are great. But the real question, the one that actually matters, is does this make people healthier? Does it prevent bad things from happening? Well, a huge landmark trial answered that with a resounding yes. This one quote from the research team really says it all. The big study, which was called the Improve-IT trial, wasn't just about hitting a number. It was about proving that forcing those cholesterol numbers even lower with ezetimibe directly translates into fewer heart attacks, fewer strokes, real-world benefits. The trial's setup was so smart and simple. They took a group of high-risk patients who were already on a statin, and they gave half of them ezetimibe. The results were just profound. Not only did their LDL levels drop way further, but that group actually had significantly fewer major cardiovascular events. This was the ultimate proof that the lower is better idea is true, and that ezetimibe is a really effective and safe way to get there. All right, so we've covered the science, we've looked at the proof. Let's wrap things up by getting practical. Who is this drug actually for, and what's it like to take? It really boils down to three main groups of people. First, it's for anyone who's on a statin, but their LDL is just stubbornly high. Second, it's a fantastic option for people who just can't handle statins, usually because of those awful muscle pains some people get. And finally, it's a key treatment for some rare genetic conditions where the body just goes haywire with cholesterol. And what about side effects? Honestly, this might be one of ezetimibe's biggest selling points. In the big clinical trials, when they compared it to a placebo, a sugar pill, the side effect profile was almost identical. The rate of things like headaches or diarrhea was about the same, and the risk of muscle pain, which is the big concern with statins, is incredibly low. It's just known for being a really easy-to-tolerate medication. It also tends to play well with other medications with a pretty low risk for interactions. But, and you know this, the golden rule always applies. Make sure your doctor knows every single thing you are taking. Prescriptions, supplements, everything. Just to be safe. When you step back and look at it, ezetimibe really represents a whole different way of thinking. It's not about brute force, shutting down a factory. It's about a smarter, more targeted block right at the point of entry. It's proof that sometimes the best defense is a really good gatekeeper.